Hello, everyone. Welcome to the BuckeyeHuddle.com signing day recruiting capsules, skull session recruiting podcast edition. We have recruiting capsules throughout the day on all of the players who sign with Ohio State as the Buckeyes land another very highly regarded recruiting class. Up right now, we have 4-star running back Bo Jackson out of Cleveland St. Joe's. Bo is a elite running back prospect. He'll hate me saying this, but I have to because I can't unsee what I've seen in the past. Also an elite linebacker prospect, but will be playing running back in Columbus. But he's really honestly one of the best two-way prospects I've seen come out of Ohio the last few years in terms of his ability to kind of play 3 or 4 different spots. But big-time running back get for the Buckeyes. This was a guy they picked up over SEC programs, like Georgia, Alabama. Those were schools involved with Bo. This was a huge get for them at the time it happened. It's still a huge get for him now. So he is in the fold. He has signed with Ohio State. And Ohio State is looking to put here today the finishing touches on a very strong running back class. Carlos Loughlin's first, and really just had half a cycle to do it. So very impressive job by Carlos Loughlin this cycle. And obviously getting Bo Jackson was a huge part of that. So let's get to the tape here. Big physical runner, kind of a throwback, like kind of an old school, like Ohio back, like a Beanie Wells type, just one of those. Seem to get him in like the early to mid 2000s. You get those big bruisers in Ohio. He's in that mold, but he's got some juice to him as well. He can hit the home run. He's more of an, again, like Beanie, he was kind of an upright runner, but has the explosiveness again to take the distance, but can also get those pads down and really put the boom down on the defenders. Good wiggle as well for his size. Again, we're talking 6'1", like 220 pounds here. So he's got a lot of juice to him for a guy that size. Excellent pass catcher out of the backfield. We got to watch him at a couple 7-on-7s where he really showed the ability to catch the ball in the backfield. Also showed excellent ability to cover on the defensive side. Was able to lock down some pretty impressive offensive guys in those settings as well. So he's got great feet and just a guy who again is one of those every down backs and one of those backs who, may not get you on the first 3 or 4 or 5 carries, but by carry, 13, 14, 15, you're kind of tired of tackling him. And he's one of those guys who can kind of just wear down a defense and eventually will pop the big one on you, which he did several times at Cleveland St. Joe's. Did have an injury that prematurely ended his senior season at St. Joe's, but no issues expected there in any type of recovery. Should be out there and ready to go for his freshman season. And again, one of the most highly regarded prospects in this class, Kevin.
Yeah, he's the type of player that you describe as fast enough. He is not, he is not going to be somebody like, looking at Ohio State's board, like Turbo Rogers or whatever. But, he's fast enough to get out there and make defensive backs have to make a business decision if they are going to bring him down, if they're going to attempt to bring him down, because Bo, 220, whatever, 6 foot. I mean, he is a difficult back to bring down, nice low center of gravity, everything else that's there to be, successful. I think that with Ohio State losing a couple of backs coming out of this season and having to kind of replenish the room, that Bo is somebody that you can kind of build around. And I think certainly modern backs are starting to see the upside of not being the 30 carry type of back. Let me go average 15, 16, 17 a game, maybe on the high side, and have tread on my tires and maybe have a chance of getting to my second NFL contract if everything works out. But, Ohio State certainly had an opportunity with 2 great backs. There's more than 2, but, 2 great backs that were mentioned in the same discussion point all the time between Bo Jackson and Marquise Davis, who recently flipped from Kentucky to Missouri. I'm not really surprised by that one. I mean, maybe Missouri, but I'm not surprised he flipped away from Kentucky. Still not going to Michigan, but I digress. I think that this is a big pickup. Again, we often undervalue in-state commitments when they happen, just because we're much more focused on what's happening out of state. All the in-state kids should happen, but It doesn't, and I think that Bo Jackson needs to be looked at as a big time get, regardless of where he calls home.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what type of impact he makes early in his career. James Peoples is obviously going to be a big part of the offense next year. We suspect, obviously, Trevian Henderson will be off to the NFL. It seems very. I know there's some rumors out there. It seems very likely Quinshon Judkins is off to the NFL. But in the 5% or less chance that Judkins would come back, I guess that would cloudy the picture a little bit. But either way, there's going to be another veteran in this room. If Judkins goes to the NFL, I have to think they're going to bring in a veteran running back in the portal. They need more bodies there. They need more experienced bodies there. So this may be a situation of, for any of the freshman running backs coming in, of kind of having to wait a year, maybe get some mop-up time, and letting James Peoples and running back X kind of do the two-man thing in 25, and then maybe setting things up for a bigger, more expanded role in 2026. I think that's the battle that the young running backs are going to have on this roster. But this is a kid who, again, I think physically pretty ready. There will be a competition adjustment. They played some decent teams on their schedule, but they're a small school program in Northeast Ohio. So they're not playing St. Ed's and Mentor and St. Ignatius every week. So there may be some culture shock that get involved with that, but you never know with that stuff. I mean, Zeke Elliott played horrendous competition in high school, and he was ready to go very early at Ohio State. So it doesn't always work that way. But even a guy like, J.K. Dobbins was out in the middle of nowhere, Texas. He wasn't playing in Dallas-Fort Worth. So they can overcome these things and see how spring and summer workouts go and things like that. But again, I think a guy who can help them earlier than later in his career. I think he's a really good player. I think he's one of the best running backs in Ohio the last couple of years. And again, I like his physical profile.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he just has a Big Ten body to him. I think that he is somebody who will do well with the physicality of this league. Adding to the mix his ability to catch passes out of the backfield, I think really, makes him a true 3-down type of player. I know we don't necessarily talk about that with a running back. I mean, that's more on a defensive side if you can play all 3 downs. But, Bo Jackson is certainly in that mold of the backs that we're used to seeing Ohio State get, especially maybe even from some of the in-state backs through the past year. So, this is a big get, and how with running backs, there's always the question of how quickly can you get them out on the field, and with Carlos Loughlin, there's maybe a little bit more actual coaching that is going on right now in terms of rather than just go to the light and run toward the hole and go for it, but. I certainly think that Bo Jackson is somebody that we will see him score his first collegiate touchdown sooner rather than later.
Yeah, so another big-time get for the Buckeyes, another guy, top Ohio guy they're keeping home. This was a priority target for them, and a guy that I know Ryan Day particularly really liked. Ryan Day was able to watch him several times in person because Bo would be at the same camps that his son RJ was at. So he was able to get a close-up look at Bo quite a bit, and I know this was a guy Ryan Day really liked as they went through the process of evaluation for the class at running back. So then you get Carlos Loughlin in there, and Carlos Loughlin's able to close the door and build a relationship, and those two have really hit it off. So everything looking good here. Bo Jackson has signed. He's in. We will continue to run these capsules throughout the day. So stay here, BuckeyeHuddle.com or YouTube.com/BuckeyeHuddle, whichever you prefer, to get all these recruiting capsules throughout the day as guys sign. As we may space them out a little bit just to let things breathe a little bit, but we'll be getting throughout the day. You'll be getting new ones, so check back often. Now is also a great time to sign up for the website BuckeyeHuddle.com. $4.99 for your first month, which will take you all the way through the first 2 rounds of the college football playoff. And let's see if the Buckeyes are still standing at that point. Maybe they will be. We'll see. We'll see what the draw looks like. But it's a great time to be over on the site. Very active message board, fun community to be around, and plenty of action going on this month on the Ohio State football beat. So check us out again at BuckeyeHuddle.com for $4.99 for your first month. But again, appreciate everyone's support. Thank you for watching and listening. We will see you again very soon.